Hello, family and friends, to the Not So Perfect Cooking Show. Today, I am going to follow Jenny Can Cook's quick rustic bread recipe, which is supposed to be better than the recipe you can find online. Please excuse my voice, it's really bad today. If you listen to any of my earlier videos, you'll know that I'm having problems with my vocal cords. Hopefully nothing serious, but I haven't been able to get into the doctor yet. Enjoy the show, because as usual, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've cooked this bread before. I actually started cooking this recipe, a similar recipe, when my son was 3, I think, 4, like about a year after he started eating. I've done it a few times since then recently and it hasn't turned out great. So I'm going to follow her recipe and hopefully it works out. My cats are fighting over there in the corner. So I'm going to follow Jenny Can Cook and I'll show you that in a minute. And if she doesn't really have an active channel, she has a web page where she puts everything online and all the recipes are free and she doesn't charge for anything. There's a whole book you can download, but you have to download it yourself. And this is Jenny, and I think she used to have a show a long time ago. I'm not sure. She looks very familiar. And she's not really doing the YouTube channel anymore. She does have her own channel. I think it's jennycancook.com. You can look it up in the information below. And this is who I'm going to be watching today.
This recipe is going to blow your mind. This is the easiest and fastest way to make the most amazing bakery-style bread, golden crispy crust, soft on the inside. There is no kneading, there's no proofing of the dough, nothing.
This is my setup. I'm going to be putting this phone right there on the deer's ear because I don't have anything else to use. And it's the only thing that fits my little back thing that pops up, so that's what I'm going to be using to do this, so bear with me, folks.
The dough a little bit, and then you really blow your mind. There's no proofing of the dough, nothing. This is that no-knead bread that people start the night before usually. It takes like 18, 20, 22 hours to make. This one is so much faster. You can make it the day that you want it, and it could not be any easier. There's hardly any work to do at all. So the recipe is very simple. It takes 3 cups of flour, and you can use all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour. I have never seen the difference. It's pretty much the same with either one. You put in only a quarter teaspoon of yeast, no more. Again, fast-acting yeast, regular yeast, it doesn't matter. Just a quarter teaspoon of yeast into the bowl and 1 teaspoon of salt, okay, for flavor. We'll stir it up just a little bit. And now we're going to add 1.5 cups of very hot water. Now the difference is when you do that overnight ride that takes hours and hours and hours, you use cold water. But by using the hot water, this makes it happen so much faster because I am such a bread person. If I can have bread faster, I'm on it. So it doesn't take too much. You see, it's a very different kind of a recipe, you know, because it's a sticky, kind of stringy, they call it shaggy kind of a dough. And I've also done this with 100% whole wheat, which is my favorite. It makes a beautiful whole wheat loaf. But you can make olive bread with this. You can make your own combination. It's such a flexible dough. Okay, so that's it. It's all mixed together. And so now what you do is you wrap it with plastic, some kind of plastic wrap. Okay? And you're going to let this sit on the countertop, not in a warm spot, but on the countertop for 3 hours. So 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, it doesn't matter. That's how easy this is. This dough is very forgiving, unlike some people I know. So I watched this baseball. I thought, thought it was dirty. Apparently some guy wrote on it. I said I was sorry. Moving on. So this sits for 3 hours. I did another one earlier so I can show you what it's going to look like after 3 hours. And it becomes kind of bubbly on the top. See that? It puffs up. I guess it's almost double in size. It becomes puffy on the top. But watch this. See, this is how it's kind of soft like that, and that's normal. Okay? So now what we do, we put it onto a floured surface.
Okay, that's it for me. We'll be back.
3 hours later. 3 hours later.
This time I even used a heat probe to test the temperature of the water before I put it in there. It said between 95, no colder than 95, no warmer than 125. I was at like 112. And it still didn't work. I don't know what to do. Second batch. Still not working. It can't be the yeast. I've already gone through 3 different packets of yeast from different brands and it's still not working. I've followed the recipe exactly down to the T and I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. I just don't understand how I'm following the recipe and nothing doesn't make any sense to me. Gandalf, what are you doing? Are you trying to get in there? What? He'll be out in a minute. You just have to wait, Bubba.